How's it going, everyone? My name is George, and today we are wrapping up my series of Batman reviews with Batman and Robin. That's right. We have gone down to that part. And by the way, I'm waiting to review Batman vs. Superman for next year. I was going to review it later this year, but with the Flash being delayed to next year, I'm going to review Batman vs. Superman and other DCEU movies before the Flash comes out that I feel are going to be important before the Flash movie comes out. And considering that's going to be apparently Ben Affleck's send-off, I figure I'll wait to do Batman vs. Superman around that time. And by the way, I apologize if I sound funny. My allergies are acting up or cold. I don't know, my nose has been very stuffy, but I'm feeling much better than I have the past few days, so that's a good sign. But yeah, Batman and Robin. This is also directed by Joel Schumacher. And this time, George Clooney is Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. Chris O'Donnell, Michael Gough, and Pat Hingle return as Robin, Alfred, and Commissioner Gordon. And in this film, Batman is taking on Mr. Freeze, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, Uma Thurman, who plays Poison Ivy, and Jeep Swenson, who plays Bane. Or whatever Bane was in this film. I'll get to that later. And also join the cast is Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. Although she's not Commissioner Gordon's daughter, she's Alfred's niece in this film. There's a lot to say about this film. So, Forever, I don't hate Batman Forever. I enjoy it for what it is. It's not a good movie, but it's not a bad movie either. At least you can say they had a good attempt at making a much more lighthearted Batman film that still had some very cool, epic moments and some moments that were respectful to the Batman mythology. And in defense of Joel Schumacher, he had a different vision for that film than what we saw. It was longer, it was supposed to be darker and deeper. But at least, that's a film that I have no problem rewatching. I enjoyed Val Kilmer's performance. I don't mind Jim Carrey as the Riddler. This film, though, I don't know what to say about this film. Usually I try to be positive, or even there's a film I have not a positive grade for, but a mixed grade for, I will open up about it. But Batman and Robin, so much went so wrong with this film. And right from the beginning, you see it. And I know people will say, well, the suiting up scene when you kind of see, nipples on the costumes and stuff like that. That's the minor flaws of this film. So, you kind of get, after the suit up scene, you got some epic sounding music. You see the Batmobile rising up. And then Robin opens his mouth and is like, I want a car. Chicks dig the car. And then Batman makes a quip saying, this is why Superman works alone. And then, Fred makes a joke about the Batmobile getting wrecked, saying bring this one back in peace, which I liked because this is the fourth Batman film, yeah, you got to make a joke about that. That's fine to make, but then Robin opens his mouth again. He's like, "Don't wait up, Al," and Alfred's like, "I'll cancel the pizzas." That's dialogue that feels like it belongs in a Ninja Turtle movie. And then of course you get a hint of one of the more savageable storylines in this film that kind of worked, which was Alfred's very sick and he's slowly dying. You get a hint of that. But that storyline's not enough to save this film. So Gordon's on a Batmobile TV screen computer and is like, Batman, we have a new villain in town. He calls himself Mr. Freeze. He's this random exposition that belongs in the 60s Batman cartoon or something like that, or an abridged Batman thing. If you've ever seen a bridge series on YouTube of Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh, if they ever did a Batman abridged series, that's something that belongs in a Batman abridged series. And then of course we get Mr. Freeze's introduction in. I'm a big fan of Arnold, but he doesn't fit Mr. Freeze. They went with the Mr. Freeze story arc of he wants to save his dying wife Nora, who's dying from a disease that's very hard to cure. And listen, that was very popular in the 90s with the 90s Batman cartoon. And I get if you're going to do a Mr. Freeze movie, that's a story arc to go with. But because Arnold is making all these quips, all these one-liners that are so bad they're hilarious, it just takes away from what could have been a deeper, more serious film. And of course, George Clooney's way of saying I'm Batman. It's like, hi, Freeze, I'm Batman. It's like he's basically saying, hi, Freeze, I'm George Clooney in a bat suit. He doesn't attempt to distinguish his voice like Keaton and Kilmore did before him, or afterwards Bale, Affleck, and Pattinson. Like, yeah, don't sound like Christian Bale or Bale with like the throat voice, like, I'm Batman. But like, distinguish yourself more. And then he pulls a Flintstones rolling down the dinosaur, sort of kick Freeze. And this movie is just going wrong. And yeah, the Mr. Freeze one-liners, let's get them out of the way. Some of them, like I said, they're so bad they're funny. Like, the Iceman coming! What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! Cool party! Allow me to break the ice. I'm Freeze. Freeze in hell, Batman! Like, seriously, like, it's just like a bunch of one-liners. And yeah, that's something Arnold is known for. Like, this is the Terminator. But still, it just does not fit this character. And then let's get to Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. Now, this is someone who, a few years before this film came out, she was in Pulp Fiction. She was fantastic in Pulp Fiction. It's a fantastic movie. She even got like an Oscar nomination for it. And yet, in this film, she's playing another over-the-top villain who wants to protect the environment, who wants to repopulate the Earth with plants later on when her and Freeze team up. Nope, she's using Freeze, obviously, to, like, kill people in Gotham. And yet, like, okay, this film, like, they're trying to aim this film at kids, but yet the lines that Poison Ivy says, it's like, it feels like it belongs in like an adult Batman parody, not even like a film aimed at kids. Like, what is going on here? It's just, why? And then like some of the other antics in this film, like belong in like the 60s Batman, like a back credit card that says forever bat skates. Like, they got ice skates built into their boots, Batman and Robin, earlier on in the film. Like, this would have worked better if it was like a mature version of like the 60s Batman cartoon, but it's not even attempting to be that. It's attempting to be a sequel to Batman Forever, which Batman Forever is a sequel to the Burton films. So like, this is trying to exist in that world, and yet it feels like it does not. You got Chief Swenson as Bane, and this is not Bane. It feels like Bane was shoehorned in here for two reasons. One, Bane was very popular when he was introduced earlier in the 90s. The Nightfall Batman story arc is one of my favorite Batman story arcs. This is the man who broke Batman's back. And two, to sell toys. And we're going to get to the sell toys thing in just a second. But that's what I think, personally. This character, like, he's not real. Like, another reason why is because Batman needs a muscle threat, because, like, what's Poison Ivy do? She's basically manipulating men. She's seducing men, trying to drive a wedge between Batman and Robin in this film. Like, what else is there for her to really do? She needs a muscle henchman in Bane, and he's like, boom, boom, boom. I mean, yeah, people give crap to Tom Hardy's Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, but here's the thing, yeah, the design's not accurate, but, like, Tom Hardy captures Bane as this mercenary, this tactician that knows how to break Batman mentally and physically. Like, that's Bane to me. Bane in, like, Arkham Origins, in Dark Knight Rises, in the comics. Even a mercenary for hire, like in Batman the Animated Series, that's still a very serious villain. Like, that's Bane to me, not whatever this is supposed to be. And what stinks is that Swenson died a couple months after this movie came out, so that's kind of sad that that's his legacy. And nothing against the guy. I don't know him. I don't recall seeing him in other stuff. He probably was a nice guy. I don't know. I just feel bad that this is what he's probably going to be known for, because he passed away a couple months afterwards. And may he rest in peace. But yeah, Bane's a disaster in this film. And then Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl, kind of the same reason why Bane was probably in this film, to finally get Batgirl in one of these movies and to sell toys. And I feel bad for Alicia Silverstone as well, because this was after her breakthrough in Clueless a couple years ago, and this was, I think, supposed to be another breakthrough for her, and she's been in plenty of stuff afterwards, but really, this is what she's kind of known for at this point. And it stinks, because I think she's very talented, and she also seems like a very, very nice person. So like compared to some of the other actors that were in here, like George Clooney, Arnold, Uma, Chris O'Donnell, like yeah, they've had more breakthroughs. But yeah, Alicia Silverstone, like this was, I think, supposed to like be another breakthrough for her after Clueless, and but yeah, she's in this film, and oh yeah, speaking of like other things, Bob, this was the last Batman movie that Bob Kane was alive to see, the creator of Batman. May he also rest in peace because he created one of the best characters of all time. But yeah, Gotham. I mean, Gotham has always had lots of statues in previous things, but they really emphasized the amount of statues in this film. Um, as far as like the action goes, it's very like, how do I put this? It's very sloppy. It's very bumbly, and like I don't know, it would work better if you just had like be like the '60s, be like pow, wham, kabam. Like this would have worked better if it was an Adam West parody film, but it's not even that. And as far as like George Clooney as Batman goes, like I said, like he as the Dark Knight does not work. Like he's not bad as Bruce Wayne. Like he's okay, I guess, as Bruce Wayne, but that's not enough to salvage this film. Chris O'Donnell, I still think is too old to play the Boy Wonder. Like I said before, this film, as bad as it is funny. Like compared to other bad comic book movies, it's rewatchable for the goofiness of this film. Like not just the Mr. Freeze puns and the over-the-top Poison Ivy performance. Some of like Robin's complaining a lot in this film. Like he's so whiny, it's hilarious at times. The way like Robin counters Poison Ivy's poisonous kiss, like rubber lips are to your charm, is so corny and bad. Really, the only thing I can really salvage from this film. Sorry, I keep mispronouncing, because like I'm just a bit overexcited talking about this film. Like really, the only thing you can really say that would be redeemable, if there's a redeemable thing in this film, is the Alfred is dying arc, and like how you see how much Alfred means to not just Bruce but to Barbara, to Dick Grayson. So like, I mean, Alfred's always gonna be like a heart and soul of any Batman film, like captures that emotional attraction. But yeah, Batman and Robin, like what went wrong with this film? This film was meant to sell toys. That's what went wrong. Like in some of the interviews, Chris O'Donnell said, I felt like I was filming a toy commercial. And Joel Schumacher even said, like, the toy companies, the merchandising companies got heavily involved in this film. And it's kind of shown, like, with some of the amounts of, like, bat suits that were in this film. And I know in, like, comic book movies today, like, you get multiple suits in films like Iron Man, Spider-Man, you get multiple different suits. But, like, at the time, like, the suits in Batman and Robin were not integral to the plot. Like, you can make a case that, a new Iron Man suit can be integral to the plot of an Iron Man film or whatever. But here, like, really? Like, the final suits, like, do they really mean something to the plot? Like, are they just there to sell toys? I don't know. And of course, like, Poison Ivy's cringy plan of, like, framing Batman for Nora Freeze's death, so, like, Mr. Freeze can kill all Gotham so she can have her terrible plan in action. And by the way, the disguises that Bane and Poison Ivy have on to get to Gotham are so bad. Most of the things in this film are bad. Batman and Robin is such a bad film, and it's like, we had such a great start with Batman. Batman Returns was a very good movie, more Tim Burton than Batman, but still, Batman Forever, I enjoy it for what it was. But then we ended on this note, and yeah, even the Batsuit, the Batsuits look bad, but even the Batmobile looks bad in this film. Like, even that was meant to sell toys. And of course, I gotta throw this out there before I end this review. The way Batman catches Freeze is so quick and random, and just so bland. This film is bad, but compared to other bad comic book movies, I have no problem rewatching it just to roast the hell out of it. But yeah, all in all, Batman and Robin, was the death of this Batman franchise. And the only good thing about this was that it led to Nolan, later on, Christopher Nolan, rebooting the franchise in 2005. I know Joel Schumacher wanted to do a Batman 5. It was either going to be called Batman Unchained or Batman Triumphant. Those were some of the titles that were thrown around. It was going to go back to the darker roots of Batman. Apparently Scarecrow was going to be one of the villains, and Batman was going to see hallucinations of Jack Nicholson's Joker, which would sound promising. But like, would we really trust Schumacher after this? Like, I know I'm not going to put all the blame on Schumacher because he has apologized for this film and he has admitted, like, yeah, we made mistakes with this film. And I didn't even think at one point, like when they were planning on rebooting the franchise, he wanted to direct like something based off of Batman Year One or do a darker reboot of Batman. But like, I feel like at the time, like, yeah, he's like been forgiven now, but at the time, would it have worked? Would people have given him another chance? Like, this movie didn't make a lot of money, Batman and Robin. It didn't make a lot of money. So, yeah, Batman and Robin is an F. I don't think I've ever given an F on this channel before, but yes, I'm going to give it an F. I wouldn't even let my kids watch it. Maybe like once, but like if I ever have kids or if I ever show a Batman movie to any young family members, it ain't going to be Batman and Robin. Unless they beg me to show it to them. Then I'll show them to them and be like, okay, enjoy cringeworthy Mr. Freeze puns. Well, that's it for the Batman reviews. I really enjoyed covering the Batman films. And I'll be moving on back to Marvel to talk about certain Marvel movies before Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And I'm not going to say which one yet, but there's going to be a Marvel review next weekend. But yeah, back to Batman and Robin. Have you seen this film? What'd you think about it? Is it the worst comic book movie you've ever seen? Is it one of the worst? Do you enjoy it even though it's bad? Let me know in the comments down below. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe already if you haven't. Please share this with someone that wants to see someone roast Batman and Robin. I'm not going to always do this. I want to be more positive on this channel. But when I cover a series of reviews, if there's a bad movie, I'm going to say it. It's a bad movie. But I hope to see you guys real soon. Take care, everyone.